On Fridays, we check in with Michael Snyder on entertainment, and we even have Michael a little intro now. Let's do some entertainment. Oh, wow. Albert, very well done. Thank you. Michael Snyder, who writes the Coastal Commuter column for the Marina Times, longtime Bay Area resident, movie critic, rock critic, music critic. He knows his anime. He knows his superhero movies. He knows those sophisticated French jobs where you need to read the subtitles. He knows it all. He's Michael Snyder.
Hey, oh my God, guys. The big question is, what was that Hooters mask made from originally? That would be the big issue for me.
I see.
Cannabis?
I don't know.
Hey, come on. It's Rosh Hashanah tonight, the Jewish New Year. And I want Happy New Year.
You have some Rosh Hashanah horror movie you're going to recommend to us? What's going on? You have right?
Come on, speaking of horror movies.
It's not going to be a Happy New Year in this house. Not this year.
5781, which is a much nicer number than 2020. Look, guys, I don't know what's worse about a pandemic. No hugs or no salad bars, but we're going to get through this. I promise you.
Well, you're always the voice of optimism. You're the voice of optimism, pal. So thank you.
I am.
So what do you have for us? I mean,
lots of stuff.
Give me the streamable, watchable. Go ahead.
But we'll start with movies. From Netflix, now available for streaming, The Devil All the Time is an ensemble crime drama, a little film noirish with a bit of the grisly to it, and it kind of recalls the Coen brothers in their Blood Simple, Fargo, dark, twisted mode. But this has none of their mordant humor, and at 2 hours and 18 minutes, it does meander a bit here and there. Still, I thought it was a good one, presenting this web of circumstances, happenstances, consequences that tightens over the course of 3 decades, the 40s, 50s, and 60s, between 2 rural towns and a couple of families. One of the towns in Ohio, one of the towns in West Virginia. They're a couple hours apart. And through these various interrelated characters, you get a portrait of violence, seediness, and perversity. And some of these characters are dedicated to religion, but that doesn't necessarily mean that good things are going to happen to them. And the cast is first rate. Tom Holland plays Arvin, who's this quietly righteous grown-up son of a good guy GI who comes back from World War II, marries a waitress, moves her and baby Arvin into a fixer-upper in the woods, and is dogged by tragedy that's almost biblical. And that carries over to others whose lives are connected in the story. By the way, the role played by Holland, yes, Spider-Man himself, it's as close as you get to a heroic lead in the movie. And this British actor is pretty convincing as a young American from that part of the country. It's like he was bit by a radioactive hillbilly. I mean, really, I was totally thrilled with Tom Holland.
Where can we watch this? The Devil All the Time.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Bill Skarsgård, the son of Stellan, brother of Alexander, best known in the States as Pennywise the Clown in the It movies. He plays the father, and there's no trace of Pennywise here. Jason Clarke, Riley Keough, Robert Pattinson, the new Batman and the old Twilight vampire, plays the young preacher who's not above reproach. And surprisingly stocky Sebastian Stan, the Winter Soldier from the Marvel movies, has the Vincent D'Onofrio role of the power-hungry local sheriff whose morals are questionable. And we get, it's a good movie. Again, not greatness. The director or screenwriter here is Antonio Campos, and he adapts The Devil All the Time, the book by Donald Ray Pollock, who is actually the narrator here and there. I always say show, don't tell, but I was caught up in the desperation of all those involved in this thing and stayed with it until the bitter end. That's available on Netflix, as is The Social Dilemma. You're talking about horror movies. October's coming. That's a time when we usually look forward to the horror films. And this year, the scariest movies I've seen are a couple of documentaries, one being Unfit, The Psychology of Donald Trump, which we discussed last week, and the other, The Social Dilemma, currently available on Netflix. Social Dilemma goes into great detail using experts and some canny dramatizations to show how our use and increasing reliance on digital devices and social media have changed our culture and are eroding modern society in insidious ways, starting at a very early age. And what it says about where we're heading and what may likely become of something we used to call the truth is beyond chilling. And it makes a case that if we don't rein in all the all-pervasive mind control potential of this tech, we may be presiding over our own demise. It might help to watch this and Unfit back-to-back before voting this year to get a little perspective on what's happening to the cognitive abilities of this nation of digital media junkies. Kudos to Jeff Orlowski, the director of The Social Dilemma. You don't want to hear it, you don't want to see it, but I think you need to. It's one of those things. Have you seen that, by the way, Mark?
I've seen a lot of it. I know a lot of it because Courtney works in that world of marketing and branding, and that online world of influencers and all the rest. And so we've seen a lot and know a lot about this already. But I've heard people just are over the moon for it. So clearly, it's worth seeing. The Social Dilemma. We watched a bunch of it. Yeah, it's on Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So again, both that and The Devil All the Time are on Netflix.
You got time for one more? Give me your best.
All right. I kind of want to tell you about Pierre Cardin. I mean, believe it or not, I'm intrigued by fashion, and I was very absorbed by House of Cardin, which is a new documentary about the Italian-born, French-identified and celebrated designer Pierre Cardin. I mean, his super hip space-age clothing for women in the 60s was just the start of what was going to be decades of success as he expanded into men's clothes and pioneered haute couture, ready to wear off the rack, furniture, household goods. He became this global brand that stood for quality. And he opened a renowned theater in Paris. He championed avant-garde performance. The guy is 98 years old this year, and he's still out there kicking. He's relinquished much of the day-to-day operations of the empire to his nephew and some other trusted colleagues. But there's recent footage, and he's been pretty sharp. And I mean, I first noticed his name on episodes of the old classic British spy-fi show, The Avengers, because he designed some of the garb worn by our dearly departed Diana Rigg as the sophisticated Mrs. Peel, and accessories and suits for Patrick McNee's John Steed character. But he did lots of movies and TV. You get Dionne Warwick, Naomi Campbell, Sharon Stone, Gaultier, even Alice Cooper doing testimonials. And you hear a little bit about his private life, which is fascinating. He was a legend for good reason, and this doc makes it a solid case. Great stuff.
Wow. It's called House of Cardin. And where can we see that?
Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Vudu, Fandango now, YouTube. You can get it there.
I love it. The Devil All the Time, which is sort of this dark, you say, sort of Coen Brothers-esque, but not quite as mirthful and without the quirky funny of the Coen Brothers.
Not quite as good as the Coen Brothers, but, solid.
In that place. That's on Netflix. The Social Dilemma on Netflix, and House of Cardin on Amazon Prime. Michael, I also tell you what I told Michael Shore, who's also a huge Niners fan. Michael Snyder's a massive Niners fan.
Oh, yeah.
We got to learn to hold a lead.
Listen, man, we're going to take on the Jets. We got a couple, one arm tied behind our backs by injury. I take it very, very personally. Go 49ers, go Giants, go team. Always a pleasure, Mark.
I love it. Michael Snyder. Yeah, it feels great, baby. All right, good deal, Michael. We'll check in with Pat Thurston and clean up some social media next as we continue. Mark Thompson, KGO 810.